How could the most powerful king in history conquer half the world and yet be remembered as the most peaceful man alive? What was the secret of his family's power? Today, for the very first time, everything will be revealed. This is episode 1 of a 6-part cinematic series about Cyrus the Great. If you want to uncover the rise of the greatest empire in history, subscribe now and begin the journey. We are about to take a journey back around 2,700 years, to a time when today's world map had not yet taken shape, and the fate of nations was determined by sword and faith. Our story revolves around 3 cities, 3 key points in ancient history: Nineveh, Babylon, and Jerusalem. We start our journey in the 7th century BCE, from a city whose ruins are located near modern-day Mosul, Iraq, Nineveh. Nineveh was the capital of the Assyrian Empire, an empire that held the largest city in the world for nearly half a century. The Assyrians were power-hungry. War was a part of their political identity. In official Assyrian royal texts, it is stated that the king's duty was to expand the empire's borders as far as possible. The result was an empire stretching from east to west across the known world. When the Assyrians conquered a land, its people were forced into absolute obedience. None of the local people were allowed to hold high positions of power. The king of Assyria was not just a ruler, he was also considered the high priest and representative of the god Ashur. One of the coronation inscriptions mentions that the king could change the status of the high and low, decide between life and death, and everyone was obliged to obey his command. This was absolute rule without question. The Assyrians even had special rituals regarding the king's death. If a prophet predicted that the king's life was in danger, an ordinary person would be crowned symbolically and then killed to divert misfortune from the real king. In their belief, this act could alter the course of destiny. Alongside Assyria, another great civilization thrived: Babylon. Assyria and Babylon were 2 powers almost always in conflict. Sometimes Assyria had the upper hand, sometimes Babylon, but neither could tolerate the other's dominance. At the beginning of this story, the balance clearly favored Assyria. The Assyrians worshipped their god, Ashur, and even had a religious city dedicated to him. In contrast, the Babylonians' main god was Marduk, and their most important city was Babylon itself, near modern-day Baghdad. Babylon remained semi-independent for a while until the great Assyrian king Sennacherib attacked and leveled the city. He recorded in inscriptions that he destroyed temples, walls, and ziggurats. After Babylon, it was Egypt's turn, and then Jerusalem, the capital of the Jews. And at first glance, its conquest seemed simple. Sennacherib camped near the city the night before the attack, but something happened that historians still debate. According to the Torah, an angel of God killed 180,000 Assyrian soldiers in one night. Herodotus, the Greek historian, gives a different account. He says desert rats gnawed the army's equipment, and the Assyrians retreated without weapons. Whatever the case, the result was the same. Sennacherib, on the verge of victory, returned to Nineveh defeated and was eventually killed by his 2 sons. The reign of Sennacherib ends, and a new era of power arises for the civilization of Assyria. A few generations later, power fell to Ashurbanipal, the most powerful Assyrian king. He brutally suppressed Babylonian uprisings and then attacked Elam. Elam, with its capital at Susa, was an ancient civilization but could no longer resist. After Ashurbanipal's campaign, Elam virtually disappeared from history. Knowing a few fascinating facts about the great Elamite civilization is truly worthwhile. The Elamites buried their dead with gifts, considered the snake a symbol of their civilization, and built massive ziggurats, temples for their gods. The most famous of these was Choga's Embel, a 5-level structure standing 52 meters tall. Now only about 2.5 levels remain. The Elamites built it to honor their god Inshushinak, the protector of Susa. Choga Zanbil is recognized as Iran's oldest registered national heritage site and the oldest religious building in Iran. and its water filtration system is considered the world's earliest known water treatment system. Despite all his campaigns, Ashurbanipal left Jerusalem alone because the Jews were obedient. Beyond war, he did something enduring. He established the world's first great library in Nineveh. About 30,000 clay tablets from this library are a major source of our knowledge of that era. No power, however, is eternal. After Ashurbanipal's death, internal wars weakened Assyria. Once again, we witness the tides of power shifting. This time Babylon allied with the Medes, led by King Cyrus. They first besieged Assur, the religious city, and then Nineveh. The walls were so thick that 2 war chariots could travel side by side on top of them, and their length exceeded 15 kilometers. Yet nature intervened. A flood broke part of the wall, and the city fell. The Assyrian Empire was destroyed, and its lands divided between the Medes and Babylonians. In Babylon, power came into the hands of Nebuchadnezzar. To maintain unity, he married a Medes, daughter of Cyrus, king of the Medes. However, the Jews were very happy about Assyria's defeat because their relations with the Assyrians had never been good. Now, half of the power was in the hands of the Babylonians, led by Nebuchadnezzar, and half in the hands of the Medes, led by King Cyrus, who would become the maternal ancestor of our hero Cyrus. A Medis longed for her green homeland, while Babylon was dry. To comfort her, Nebuchadnezzar built the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, which later became one of the 7 wonders of the World Terrace Gardens with an amazing irrigation system. Nebuchadnezzar then went to Jerusalem and entered the city without resistance. He took the treasures of the temples and, to ensure the city remained loyal and did not rebel, brought 4 young men from prominent families of Jerusalem to Babylon. This was a common practice. The victorious king would take such hostages who were not treated as slaves but lived among others. One of these 4 was the prophet Daniel, whose tomb is now in Shush, Khuzestan, Iran. Daniel gained a special position in the court and interpreted the king's dreams. After capturing Jerusalem, part of Nebuchadnezzar's army went to Egypt, but could not defeat the Egyptians. Then they went toward Yemen, also without success in return. When the news of Babylon's army retreat reached the Jews in Jerusalem, they decided to stop paying tribute and taxes, hoping Egypt would support them if Nebuchadnezzar attacked again. But this time, there was no miracle. Nebuchadnezzar besieged Jerusalem again, the city fell, and the king was killed. Thus, the fate of these 3 great ancient cities became intertwined. Nineveh fell, Babylon reached its peak, and Jerusalem repeatedly changed hands among the powers. But the story is bigger than this. Kings who haven't been born yet will shape the fate of these wars. This is just the beginning. Big events are coming. The story continues.